doing is I'm going to be giving you, I don't remember if I'm doing 3 or 4 clues, but I'm going to be giving you some clues, and we're going to see if we can build the fraction based on the clues that I give you. Yes? I can't hear Scarlett, who actually raised her hand, because some people were trying to talk. What? Go for it. All right, so let's look at clue number 1. There are 6 squares in my fraction. So with your pencil, go ahead and draw a big box, and let's partition that big box into squares. Mine is at the bottom. It's kind of rectangular, but it'll do the job. So that first clue tells me what my whole is. It tells me, hey, there's going to be 6 squares inside that fraction. So make sure your fraction has 6 squares. They could be rectangles, that would be fine. So far, so good? No. We know what that clue is telling us? Our box is partitioned into 6. You hear that? At the end, 6. Because I have 6 pieces now making up my whole. Alright, I'm ready to move on to my next clue. Maybe. Ooh, 1/2 of the squares are green. How am I going to do that? I have 6 squares. How am I going to color in half of them? That would be really easy if I only had 2 squares, because I would color in one of them. But I have 6 squares. How am I going to color in 6? Right?
You color in 3 and then leave the rest blank.
Yes, I'm going to color in 3. Why? Because 3 is half of 6. So go ahead and get out your green. Shade in 3 squares green. So I got my 3 squares, aka 1/2 green. Ethan,
Can you use a little pencil?
does that work? Does it solve your problem? Awesome. That also did happen. Alright, so far so good. That was a little bit of a tricky clue. Half, even though we were dealing with 6. Alright, let's move on to our next clue. I'm going to put like 8,000 dots trying to find this clue. 2 squares are red. Maybe.
Probably on the right.
I know, I thought there was going to be another clue, but there's only 3 clues on this one. Alright, you just completed your first mystery fraction. What if your fraction, what you colored in, looks different than mine? Is that okay?
Yes.
Yes. Why is that okay? Like, I can see, for instance, that Azalea partitioned her squares all the way across. So hers looks a little different than mine. Why is that okay? Brayden, why is that okay?
Because as long as you have 6 squares, 3 red and 2 red and 3 blue, that's okay. You don't have to have the same exact value.
Yeah, we have to have the same value. Tell your partner that each square has to have the same value. We've talked about value. Remember, value means that they're worth the same. They are balanced. Remember when we did our number balances? And they were balanced. All right, let's try another one. Let's try another one. We will, but not right now.
Oh, that's
All right, let's try another one. This one I'm not going to do with you. This one you're going to do on your own. Let's see if you can figure it out. Liam, I would erase your space left.
You would erase mine?
All right, let's see if you can figure it out. Ready? Clue number 1. There are 8 squares in my fraction. yes?
Oh, squares.
There are 8 squares in my fraction. Do not draw a circle model. Not only do I hate them, but they will not be in squares. They will be in triangles.
Very hard to do in squares. Just like
Alright, I'm releasing the second clue. Half of the squares are blue. Half of the squares are blue. Alright, next clue coming at you. Maybe. Oh, 2/8 of the square is yellow. Think about what that means. 2/8 of the square is yellow. Alright, this one I know has 4 clues. The rest of my squares are green. The rest of my squares are green. How many squares did you color blue? Raise your hand to tell me. How many squares did you color in blue? Liam?
4.
4 squares should be colored in blue. Why are 4 squares colored in blue, Liam?
Because
Do you remember the clue that I said?
no.
The clue said 1/2 of the squares are blue. So why did we color in 4?
We're trying to make a 1/2 of the blue.
Okay. Bailey, you want to help him out a little bit?
Yeah. Why you colored in 4 is because 8 has 2 4s in it.
Yeah.
And you would have to color in only 1 4 to get 1/2.
Very good. Half of 8 is 4. How many squares did you color in yellow? This one tripped up some of you, but I guarantee when you hear it, you're going to be like, oh man, I knew that. Emma? 2. You're only coloring in 2 squares. You had a total of 8 squares, so 2/8 means 2 squares. That leaves how many for green? How many squares ended up being green? Scarlett?
2.
2. All right, let's see if you got it right. Ooh, does yours look like mine?
No.
Wrong. Then you're all wrong.
No. Ours is pretty much the exact
Why
same.
not?
No.
If yours does not look exactly like mine, how are you not wrong?
But
If yours does not look exactly like mine, how? How are you not wrong?
same value.
Really?
Because we still have 8 squares, but we still have 8 squares. But we just made it ones that look a little differently, but they're the same value.
They are the same value. Even if my squares are shaded in a slightly different order, they're still going to be worth the same amount. Let's try another one. Ready? Ready? Here we go. Mystery fraction. You don't appear to be ready. Alright, clue number 1. Ooh! The whole is 8/8. What does that mean? Think about what it means. Think about what it means. The whole is 8/8. What does that mean? The whole is 8/8. How many pieces is going to be in your whole? It tells you. Think about what that fraction means. Lucy? 8. That denominator tells me there are 8 pieces in my whole. The whole thing is made up of 8 eights.
It's just saying 8 out of 8.
8 out of 8. 8 eighths. Yep. So you need another hole drawn in pencil with 8 squares in it. Alright, clue number 2. Maybe. Ah, there it is. 2/8 of my fraction is yellow. 2/8 of my fraction is yellow. Are these squares? 2/8 of my fraction is yellow. Alright, next one. Ooh, this is a long one. Some of my squares are red, some are green. The same fraction represents how many red and green squares. That means my red square fraction is the same amount as my green square fraction. Go ahead and do it on your piece and I'll talk about it. The same fraction represents the number of red squares as the number of green squares. What is the fraction of red squares? Right?
Maybe 2.
That's not a fraction. I want a fraction. What fraction are red squares? Azalea? That's a number. I want a fraction.
I don't know how to say it. But I know.
3/8 is how you would say that. Yes, your red square is 3/8. What fraction is your green square?
8.
It's the same. That's what that clue is telling you. The same fraction for red squares is the same fraction for green squares. So you should have 3/8 red and 3/8 green. All right, let's check and see if you're right. Ready? You have that?
No.
Oh, then you're all wrong.
No. We have the same value.
As long as you have 2 yellow squares, 2/8, 3 green squares, 3/8, 3 red squares, 3/8, you have created the right fraction. Yes, ma'am.
Are we gonna do another misconnection?
We might have one more. I don't remember.
Yeah. I wanna do it in
Oh, we got one more. Last one. This is the last one. Nope, this one's going to be by yourself because in a minute you're going to be making your own mystery fraction. Alright, let's see what we got. This last one, last mystery fraction. Here we go. There are 6 squares in my whole.
Okay.
That's a pretty easy clue. There are 6 squares in my whole. That's a pretty obvious clue. It might have said there are 6 in my whole. That will still give you the same information. Just saying it as a fraction. Alright, I see a lot of you ready to move on. 1/2 of the squares are green. 1/2 of the squares are green. So think about what that's going to look like. Azalea, I don't see you coloring. I think a lot of you have mastered that 1/2 even when it's not in 2 parts. I think you guys got that. 1/2 of your square is green. Liam, 1/2 of yours is green? Alright, next clue. Ooh. The unit fraction of my square is yellow. You're going to have to remember what a unit fraction was. And if you don't remember, where is that knowledge being stored? In your math notebook. I promise we talked about what a unit fraction was. I promise we did. Last week. So again, that unit fraction, as Bryce just told us, just means it's one piece, like 1/3 is a unit fraction. 1/4 is a unit fraction. The unit fraction of this square is yellow. Last clue. 2 squares are red. 2 squares are red. 2 squares are red. Yes, ma'am.
If you didn't know what the third it was, then since you just colored in 2 squares and you only have one left, you can color in the rest of the squares.
Ooh, did you hear that thought? Arwen said, hey, if you didn't know that third clue, but you figured out the fourth clue, you could kind of figure out the third clue by process of elimination, by what's left. You know what that tells me? That tells me Arwen's really good at these puzzles. So we've been talking a lot about puzzles in school. That's what we're doing. We're just puzzling. All right, let's see if you're right. Let's see if what you did matches mine. Yours match mine? No. It's probably because you're all wrong.
No!
It's just because it's different. Now, pause. What if on your paper, your whole fraction is colored in red? Would you be wrong?
Yes, you would.
Yes, you would. Because is my whole fraction colored in red? No, you need to make sure that you only have 2 out of your 8 pieces shaded in red. If they're in a different spot, that's okay. But the fraction still needs to be the same. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Alright, so what I want you to do now is we have these fraction pieces all in our notebook. To the side, just like we do in number talk, I want you to tell me what each color is worth. So I'm going to model with Scarlet's first, and then I'll let you do the rest of them.